When was the last time you or a friend gave each other a harsh, loving word? I'm Stephen Tocher, and I've helped hundreds of people over the past 20 years. And over the next 40 years, I'd like to help a million more people when it comes to their faith, their family, their fitness, their finances, pretty much any F word you can think of except the bad ones. All right, so today I had a wonderful friend stop by. He's been my best friend for 30 plus years now. I can't believe time moves on the way it does, but it just does. And I was so blessed to have him come over. We have a new little one in our lives, and he stopped by, almost unannounced. He gave me the heads up last night. He drove like an hour plus to get here, only for like an hour, just to stop by. He dropped off a bunch of stuff from the Dutch store. My wife is Dutch, and she loved everything he picked up. He's just so caring and kind, and I'm just so thankful and blessed to have someone like himself in my life. There, a handful of other people, who you are, who have done the same and who are planning to do the same, and it got me thinking about how loved I am in this present moment, and also how much work I've put into the relationships around me, and they've put into myself, because relationships are not easy. And with that being said, in a good relationship, you will have moments where you'll fight each other. Well, you'll have a harsh word with that other person. And at times people kind of, I guess, say that could be toxic or problematic. But the Bible would like to differ. And of course, there are situations where a person who's, kind of speaking to you, if they're not doing it in love and they're launching at you, unless it's something really bad that you're doing or vice versa, you obviously have to be careful. And I talk a lot about boundaries on this channel because boundaries are a super, super needed thing for everybody in just about every area of life, whether you notice the boundaries or not. So my friend and I have gone through a ton over the years. We both lived in a rough neighborhood growing up. He was always taking care of his brothers. I was always there to support him and help him. Sometimes I'd be taking care of my sister. He'd come by and help me. We went through bullying together. We just went through a lot of pain and heartache with our family members as well. And over the years, we've always had our backs. But over the years, I must say, we've also been blessed to speak tough words into each other's lives, especially when we didn't like what the other person was doing or what they were going through or how they were approaching a situation. And now, as we're both dads, he's doing extremely well, and he's very, very successful in the job that he has right now, moving up to, I assume at some point, a vice president position. It's been amazing to have such a wonderful person that I can be accountable with and know the idiosyncrasies and the nuances of when we were kids too, and how to approach a conversation with lightning speed. And with that also being said, I say that a lot, he has this amazing way of giving me a harsh word when I need it. And unless it's my wife and a handful of other people, I don't take those types of words very well from people. I'm getting better at it. I'm learning how to deal with criticism and constructive criticism. But in his case, pretty much whenever he calls me out on something, I perk up and listen. And he's done that over the years. He's done that with my choices for education, my choices for girlfriends, my choices for the way that I interacted with people, or maybe I was stepping out of line. And he's such an extreme professional as well as loving person that I know when he says something, I need to listen. I absolutely need to listen. And I think vice versa. I've been that annoying bug buzzing around his ear over the years, and I've been able to give him some tougher words as well. And those words, pretty much, I'd say 90% of the time, have come at amazing time frames that helped us both to mature. And when we took the advice, things went much better in our lives. And when we didn't, things definitely didn't go so well. There is this proverb in the Bible, I think it's Proverbs 27 verse 6, that essentially goes something along those lines, that a tough word comes from a friend, but many kisses come from an enemy. If you have people in your life who are just constantly giving you flowery speech, who are just saying nice things about you, who just always want to encourage you, and you can't take a step back. And when you take a step back, you can't see the moments or times in your life where they've had a harsh or tough word for you. I would really second guess how much intimacy you give that person, because a person who is willing to look out for you will be willing to say the thing that most people will not be willing to say. And that takes a fair amount of maturity to be able to not only recognize that, but to receive that, and of course to deliver on that promise of friendship as well. I remember this one particular situation when me and my friend were sitting in the back of a car. We were on a fishing trip. We were driving out that morning, and I was actually explaining what I was going to try to do on YouTube 15 plus years ago. I explained the fitness side of things, and I explained the life coaching, and I explained all the people I wanted to help. And he stopped me dead in my tracks, and he said, "Steve, if you want to do this, are you going to be doing this with the mindset of helping hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of people?" And I thought to myself for a little while, and I said, I hope to do this one person at a time. And with a sense of relief on his face, he looked at me and he said, "Good." Because if you had said anything else, I would have, given you heck forever, because that's the way you should be doing it. And I've always respected him for taking that approach of the one-on-one. And even as I'm streaming right now, I don't know how many people are watching. I don't look at the numbers or try not to. But, if I'm reaching out to you and it's that, I'm having this one-on-one conversation while I'm doing the dishes and you feel impacted by it, you can thank my best friend for that, because he's always pushed me to do what was best for my family, for myself, for my well-being. I remember growing up, I wanted to play basketball and do it at a high level, and he would get up with me at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he'd grab a bunch of snacks from his house because I didn't have those finances in our home, and he'd be out with me playing a position that was very foreign to him for hours on end, and just trying to help me to succeed. And I know not all of us or many of us have a friend like that in life. But I do believe we can cultivate those type of friendships. But we have to be real, we have to be honest, we have to be transparent, and we have to be able to give a hard word and be able to take a hard word. And I'm thankful that he and I have both been able to do that over the years. So, short video today, but I just really wanted to share that glimmer of hope, that if you are going through a tough time with a friend, or you're feeling maybe that you've had a falling out over something maybe even trivial, get back on the horn with that friend. Talk to that friend. And if you have never really had any hard words or harsh words with your friends, and it's being done in love, and you feel maybe that there's something wrong in their life, or maybe they are acting coy around you, and maybe there's something that they want to say to you, I would say explore that avenue. It's very difficult to potentially put a friendship on the line, but in the long term, you don't know what you're potentially missing in other friendships if you allow a bad or toxic or long-term just yes friendship to exist. And don't get me wrong, there are going to be friends in your life and people in your life who you're just going to want to have fun with or just connect with on a smaller level, and that's obviously okay. It's just more for the intimacy side of things. If you want to really go deep with someone, I would really suggest getting it out there, airing out your laundry, because I guarantee you, if they're the right person, they will help you immensely to grow as a person, as some of my, I'd say my top 5 people have done in my life. And it also helps to humble you, because when you go into a situation where you have to say something to them in love, it humbles you. And when someone says something to you about the way you're living, it'll also most likely humble you as well. So it's always a humbling experience, whether you're receiving or giving. And it's a good test of friendship. Not that you want to just randomly go around and start poking holes in each other in your friendship. That's not what I'm saying. So as I land the plane here, I just want to say I'm thankful for the friends that I do have. I hope that you can connect with good friends in your life. A harsh word is necessary, like it says in Proverbs 27 verse 6, because you need to know what you're doing wrong. Yes, people are not going to cut it in the long term, especially when hardships come around. And if you haven't had that, that long talk that you need to, or you feel like maybe they have something they need to share, I pray that you pray about it, think about it, and try and address it in a gentle and loving way. Get your heart right to either receive or give, or vice versa. Maybe you'll have to, as you're giving a reproach of some kind, that they might reproach back at you and say, this is why I've been acting this way, because I've been reacting to the way you're treating me in a different area. So get yourself humbled, or put yourself in a humble disposition, and allow God to work in your relationship. And I do pray and hope that all of us can have a Jonathan and David type friendship from the Bible, because I think that really helps in those tough hardships and times in the days and weeks, and as the world gets tougher in the months and years to come. If you'd like to check out any of the other Dad Doing Dishes videos, you can check that out in the playlist right here. I just want to say thank you again for watching. Please like and give it a comment if you can, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do that right here. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, evening, morning, or night. God bless.